Well, I must have tapped it by accident. Hey, everybody. So glad to be here this morning. Had a little technical difficulty going on, so we're a little behind, but we're here. And we want to say welcome to everyone that will be joining us today or that's on already. Thank you so much for your time, and we just appreciate so much. We have a guest with us today, but before we introduce our guest, I want to say, hey, Wanda, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and we also have Roz Warfield Knighton with us. I always get it backwards, and she's going to be with us today. We are in Augusta, Georgia, for awards dinner that's coming up. So before we get started, got to do the mirror. Got to look in the mirror. I'm telling you, this is a day to look in the mirror. But as I look in the mirror, yeah, my lips are a little lipstick on already. Really was a gloss, but it's gone already. So I might look a little paler than normal to you today. But when I look in the mirror, I see past all that. I see the greatness of the Lord and what He has created. And when I look in the mirror, I'm not telling myself, is life worth living? If you're sitting on the side of your bed, you're wondering if life is worth living. And what I didn't even see your mirror this morning. Did you have your mirror?
I do have my mirror. Mirror.
And when you look in that mirror, what do you see?
Let's see. When I look in the mirror, I see a couple of lines and
Of
yeah,
course.
some grinning frown lines. But guess what? That just means I'm seizing and aging gracefully
Yes.
with the love of Yahweh in my life
Yes.
and
Amen.
embracing every change that is going
Amen.
on in my life. So I love what I see in the mirror this morning.
Yeah. So that means you want to look in the mirror? You looking over like, where
No,
my mirror?
I was just looking at I see in the mirror, I am God's greatest miracle. That's what I see in the mirror. So I automatically want to be past, the trip. And I was talking to my goddaughter and she said, oh, I was having a hard time with this age. And I'm like, why? So what you said, Miss Wanda, aging gracefully. But how can we wake up if he's our all-knowing God? How can we wake up and be past looking at any of the flaws of us because we are his workmanship? So I see greatness in the mirror.
Amen. So even when we look in the mirror, you got to realize you have a destiny, but first of all, you have a purpose. And if you're looking in the mirror and saying, "Why am I still here? What is going on? Is life worth living?" I want you to know you have not completed your purpose. You have something that you need to go around what's going on. I promise you, all of us have something we could get stuck on and say, is life worth living? But when you know the Savior, when you know even who Elohim is, you know that there's a purpose that is so much bigger than that you think of yourself. So the first thing you want to do is seek Him. You want to seek Him, and the scripture come to mind right now. Seek Him while He may be found. Well, we know what that's entailing, but you want to seek Him. You want His guidance, and you want Him to lead you into all truth. Why? Because where you are right now is small. It's just someplace small, and the bigger picture is on the other side of that. So we want you to be encouraged and know that the bigger picture is on the other side of it. And listen, don't spend your life with regrets. Life is too important for that when you think about it. Life regret mean you're living in the past. And I tell you all the time that Elohim is not in the past. He's right here in your presence. So you're back there, you feel a void, you feel empty, and he's right here saying, Here I am. Why are you there? We're past that. And the help that you're looking for is not back there, is right now. So we want you to continue to seek the Father, continue to get instructions for him. Why? Because life is too good to waste. We don't want you to waste any more time. So, can we say my favorite saying this morning? My favorite saying is, A life without me is like a world without color. Can you say that? A life
Life
without
without me is like a world without color. Y'all see, I got my colors
She got
on.
her colors on. Minister Wanda got her beautiful green on. Well, I got on white, and it's not blending today too good, but it's okay. It's okay. So, so while we're
I'm sorry, listen, you need to be more concerned.
so we're on broadcast right now. Thank you, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I have a
Production.
production in the background saying I'm not in the right place, in the right place. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. I want to say hello to the UK. I want to say hello to London this morning and
Jackie.
everywhere else. Oh, there's someone that you can even see that's from London, and not just London, because you got to say London and the UK.
Uh-huh.
So those that are from the UK, they'll be like, UK. We thank you so much for being here. We want to say Philadelphia. We want to say New Jersey. I see Sister Michelle is on. Sister Linda, New York, wherever you're looking from today.
South Africa's here.
South Africa is here.
Yeah.
Is she? Oh yeah, she's right there. Hey, Sheikah, love you, girl. So glad to see you today.
Look at you. You international. Come on here.
Internet national. Yahweh be praised. So I want to thank each and every one for taking time out of their busy schedule to be here today. So, this morning I was thinking, and I was like, what we gonna call it? And it was like, we're just doing a round table today. Like some people say, Washington's in the house. Linda, I didn't know you was in Washington. Thank you so much for being here. So even as I thought about it, I was thinking about a couple of things. I was thinking about one, Roz was like, we need to talk about intentional time. Lighting.
No, some of the behind the scenes when you're preparing, and we were having a concern with the lighting. So I said, are you intentional about chasing your light? Because we know that the light of Christ is all about us. So we were talking about that. Somebody typed for me, Frida or Jackie, Texas in the house, because I'm sitting right next to.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Texas is in the house, y'all.
She said,
Somebody, she ain't gonna talk.
Y'all might just need to scoot over.
I know she need to come on over here, right?
Just put her chair in the back so we can see her.
Oh, put Alfreda in the background. She gonna be over there talking. She could be in. Listen.
She's got a beautiful crown of braids, looking like a queen with her little flowers in it.
Yes.
But it's going to be okay.
She always try to
So
play the
good
shy
morning.
role.
Thank you,
But-
Jackie. Thank you, Jackie.
But one of the things I was thinking about also, and that's so true, chasing the light. But I was also thinking about being in a place and you need something like yesterday to be done, and you're still waiting on Yahweh. How do you wait on, and some call it God, which is the title, Yahweh is his name. How patiently are you with the waiting? How consistent are you with the waiting? So I was thinking about that, but I just realized that you ladies didn't get the chance to introduce yourselves. I'm just kind of all over the place. Yes, Pastor Daphne, I said Jersey's in the house. Thank you. Wanda, take a minute because you have something also coming up soon that you need to talk about. And I don't have your book on me today. Do you have your book?
No, I don't have my book. My name is Wanda L. Floyd. I am the owner of WLF Academy and soon to reopen, yay, Inspirational Cuts and Designs Hair Care Center. I'm so excited about that.
I'm excited for you.
So excited about that. And Brains and Beauty Business Academy, where we teach beauty industry professionals how to do business better. I am an educator, a trainer, I'm a mom, and yes, very soon we have a series coming up that is entitled Apply Pressure, as a matter of fact, and it's including, I'm collaborating with Dr. Inisa Mathis, and her teaching series actually starts this Wednesday, September the 18th. Our time is 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. So it'll be 10:30 p.m. if you're on Eastern Standard Time. But there will be a replay available. This is a series that you really don't want to miss. It's going to start out with her Bible study, and then I will be coming on Let's Talk About It with Wanda, and we will be touching different areas of how you apply pressure. And once this thing is all done, we're going to come together and we're going to have a seminar so that we can help individuals activate that applying pressure in their lives. So
Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait. Anybody that has not heard Minister Wanda at all, you have missed a treat. So if you get a chance, go onto her Facebook page and hook up. She's on Instagram. She's on what's that called? YouTube as well. And I have to stop for a minute because my daughter just entered the room, which is Ashley. And Ashley had a birthday yesterday. And I just want to say happy birthday. I'm not at home, so I wasn't able to do all the pictures and stuff. But I thank God. I thank God that I'm here to see her turn the big 4-0, which she was not too happy about, but she's getting over it. She says she's over it now since yesterday afternoon or something like that. Yesterday evening. And the thing of it is I told her, oh, now you're grown. 30 and 20, you getting grown, but you're 40 now, you're grown. So now your experience of life is going to change, and it's going to change for the better because you see things differently. You don't do the things and she's always been laid back. So that's never been a real issue with her, but she will experience life differently. I want you to know I love you and I'm proud of you. You've done amazing things and I'm proud of you. So happy birthday to my oldest daughter.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Auntie Roz loves you.
So, I just thought about when I was having her. I think I might have said this to you, Wanda. Somebody was just talking about being prepared, and I had went to the doctor that day, and the doctor told me that I was coming back that night, and I was like, oh no, I won't be back. Sometimes it's 2 weeks before you come back. I'm saying all this stuff. He said, you'll be back tonight. Went home, started cooking, frying chicken, washing down in the bathroom, just scrubbing down the bathroom and the tiles. And I had my girlfriend's daughter, because they was at Shambox conference, and I had her that day. And when my husband came home, we had a church meeting. He went to the church meeting. I said, I'm gonna stay home. I didn't tell him that I was having labor. So when he got home, I think his mother had called the house for something. And when he got home, she was like, that girl's in labor. So so my girlfriend called and she was talking to me. She said, get her to the hospital. I had to wait because I had to put on my makeup. I had to press out my lingerie. I had to get everything together. And she's like, if you don't get her out this house now. And she didn't come to the next morning anyway. But I had things to do before I went anywhere. So I was just thinking about that, my little silliness, things that I did. But I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad that you're here to see 40 years
You
of
got
life.
here safely.
Yeah.
Because there was some delays. Vanity delays.
Vanity delays, for sure. So, and plus I needed it to be another 2 weeks because I had things I still needed to do for her.
Now, something you said earlier, nothing is wasted in God's economy, y'all. And when he says it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. But what do we learn from the consequences of our decisions if we don't roll and flow with daddy? You know what I'm saying? So Ashley, I'm so glad you got here safely, traveling mercy and grace.
So, Roz, introduce yourself.
Okay.
Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm hanging with my two lovely friends from our community of, I always say Always Journal 365, formerly now known as the 1212. I am Dr. Smile, AKA Auntie Roz Knight in Warfield. I live in Dallas, Texas with my husband, Vincent Warfield. We have 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and a whole lot of nieces, nephews, and all of that kind of stuff. And I call myself a SMILE strategist, and SMILE is an acronym for Simply Make Intentional Love Encounters, starting with yourself first, then being able to have that vertical alignment together, going into the secret places for yourself, learning yourself, and then going horizontal to be able to serve others. And we know that that serving of others, we don't want to insert ourselves on a kingdom assignment that is not our assignment. Then you have a whole lot of issues that are happening. So I am here with Leslie, and Leslie is a prayer warrior in the category of the Speak Up Sister Awards, and I have it for the SMILE, and I was so excited about that. So we're praying like both of us, that we don't know, we still don't know until this evening, but that both of us will be winners. But guess what? Regardless of what happens, it's a wonderful organization with Angel Wright, and we are winners anyway, right? Regardless,
Already.
because we are daughters of a king. So that is my my share.
Okay. So Wanda had an emergency. She'll
Okay.
be back. So we'll continue on. And yes, if you think about it, we were chosen out of over 600 women. So just to even come this far to be a finalist is a big thing as we go forth. So, I was thinking about some crunch time, some things that comes up in our lives, and when they come up in our lives, we have to make a choice on how to deal with them, whether we're going to deal with them in grace or whether we're going to deal with them in fear and nervousness. What are we going to do? And if we're in a place of fear and nervousness, how can we get out of that place that we can be in a place of peace? Thank you, Pastor Daphne. She says she voted for both of us. So if you think about it, crunch times, things that you need to answer for yesterday, and you still have to wait to see if it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that waiting comes from what Psalms 86:10, be still and know that I am God. That waiting part is very active. People think when they say wait, that we don't do nothing. That's a verb. It's an action. You still gotta groom yourself in patience. You know what I'm saying? Patience to be able to do that. So, but yeah, wait on the Lord.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Ashley's comment. Sorry. No, Ashley, you can't blame that on
That is yeah, Ashley. And still today, right? We're like,
Yeah.
we're good.
It's one of the things, and it's so true, that waiting, but what does that look like? That waiting process. Are we waiting on what the word tells us to wait on? Or are we waiting in our own flesh, allowing our own thought patterns to take over, allowing the way that we think it should go? Or are we deciding we need to make a move because he hasn't made a move?
Well, one thing when you were sharing about Ashley and where she is in her, I want to say her fine vintage wine of age, in our teens, our 20s, and our 30s, But then there still are some, because I know some personally who are in their 40s who are
Yeah.
they still not, with it. But when we think about that, we see the differences of how we operated in those different tenureships of years of where we are.
Because it changes.
Yeah. And when you've been interrupted because of your own decision, you've caused pain, you've caused trauma, drama. Eventually, it's like you'll learn or you won't learn. And then it always comes out, it either mess with your money if you're not doing right. How many of us always want to do a DIY, do it yourself? You need to go on and call the plumber out, somebody who's licensed to help you take care of something, right? Or you know, you might be dealing with your car, dealing with your car. You got all them light gadgets to tell you what's going on. And what are you going to try to go one more place, or you going to go on and go get it taken care of? So asking questions, reading, understanding the fine print of whatever you have is the best thing to do in life. And then yet what more than to have your BIBLE, you know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty in there to keep us, when you go bowling, them guardrails, His grace and mercy is them guardrails for you.
Hey, Adrian, my other daughter is on as
Hey,
well.
Adrian.
And I'm always glad to see both of them. Just for your own children to come on and see what you're doing, that means something.
It
to
does,
me,
it does.
So I appreciate both of them. I love them both, and I'm so proud of them both. So I'm glad that they're here today. Adrian's probably on her way somewhere, but thank you for stopping in. She do the drive-bys. Hey, Mom, and then she. But yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, Minister Wanda, I was just talking about those mean times, and we were talking about it not that long ago, waiting on the word and understanding what that really looks like and what that means, because what it means to us is differently than what it means in the word. And so, I don't know what you'd like to add to that.
That waiting can be something else sometimes. Our waiting and his waiting can be totally different. After you have done a thing, you will have need of patience, right? And so that waiting on Yahweh can be challenging. But what reassures you in that wait is knowing that he is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent. Yes. Knowing that if he said it, he is going to bring it to pass. And our job is literally just to be, do, and trust him. If we trust him and go on about our business and be busy about doing whatever it is that we are supposed to do for him, you won't worry about waiting. That thing will show up before you know it. You're like, oh my goodness. But most of the time it's because we're waiting, but we're watching. Is that it over there? That's our problem. We don't take our mind off of it. No different than when we pray and we supposedly give something to him, but then we keep taking it back and keep praying about it. We don't have to keep praying about it. He heard us the first time. And so that waiting, you can't watch while you're waiting. It's almost like they used to say, if you're going to worry, then don't pray. And so waiting can be challenging, but there's a way that you wait. The best way to wait efficiently and effectively is to open his word and start reading his promises. Those promises will encourage you. Those promises will uplift you. Those promises will give you strength. That's when Yahweh Uzai can come and lift you up and kind of put you on his back. That's the God of my strength. When you wait, that's the best way to wait. Because if you kind of wait according to the world's waiting, then like Miss Ross says, you're gonna DIY it and do it yourself. You're going to find yourself taking it back, and well, it's taking you a little bit, so I'm just going to help you out. Let's look at an example of this, because I don't think she really knew that that's what she was doing, but that's exactly what she was doing. Come here, Sarah. Come here, Sarah. So Yahweh tells Sarah that Sarah and Abraham, well, she overheard the conversation because she was in the kitchen, frying up the chicken and getting the bread ready and stuff, the biscuits and the fish ready and the refreshments and the horse dovers and the hors d'oeuvres and all that stuff. She was getting all that ready. So she overheard the conversation that Yahweh told, well, actually it was Adonai that told Abraham that he was going to have a child, right? And she laughed. She was like, I didn't laugh. Girl, yes, you did. Yes, you did. She probably was like, you tripping. You really are tripping. You know how old I am, right? Stuff is not even flowing like it used to anymore. So how some babies going to come forth from this here vessel? How about that? How's that going to happen? And she heard him and she laughed. But the next thing she did was not the next thing, but in her mind, she could not imagine how it was going to happen. When Yahweh tells us a thing, it is not our business to try to figure out how he's going to do it. All we do is stand in the fact that he said he was going to do it and wait for it to come to pass.
So before you go any further, it's between him and his word.
Absolutely.
What he says in his word is his business. We just got to stand on it.
Yes, that's between Yahweh and his word. That's what he said. That's for them to work that out. Like you said, just stand on it and wait for it to happen. But she was like, well, surely he knows that I'm old, so we're going to have a baby. Maybe he meant that it should happen this way. So
Miss Martha, if I'm tickled because we're talking about Sarah.
Yeah.
Doing her fried chicken and everything in the kitchen and doing her way and laughing just to conceive. And then I thought about Missy over here with Ashley. We just needed to have a delivery. You're going to question any point of entry. Do we need to question any point of entry that God says? But we have to learn. And then guess what? When we're obedient, it's a progression to trust. When we get to that point, and even no matter how much trauma or devastation that took place, we still have this sense of peace inside of us. Once it happens, we're resilient. We're able to rebound. We're able to restore, be rejuvenated from all of that. So I just thought about that. That's just really wow. What do we do that tampers with? He's not bound by time, but we're still trying to get in the way of his time.
Yeah. I like that. What do we do that tampers with his time, his timeline? I like that, because that's exactly what she did. She figured, well, he said we were going to have a baby. He knows I'm far too old for this. So maybe he meant for us to do it this way. And she now incorporates somebody else who wasn't even in the equation, in Yahweh's equation. And she uses her handmaid. But when Yahweh gave her a word, he gave her a word. Not her, but her husband, he gave him a word, and Isaac was the promise. Not that Ishmael couldn't be used, because he's a part of Abraham's seed, but Isaac was the promise. But she did her own DIY. That's what she did. Because
that DIY, when we talk about Ishmael, and then she copped the attitude, put the woman with your husband, chick. And now you're going to have an attitude. that DIY, I know, I'm like, my God. And that ended up being a lifetime of memory of the consequence of the choice. So now you're looking at other chick's son, and then you still weren't in position for your son. and then she finally got there. But look at that. I mean, when we really understand that decision, and then we look at the history of those families and what's happening, what's taking place. Yeah, we were talking about that, about generationals. We don't want to be in that position, but how do we talk against it because of the power of God? You know, when it comes to generational stuffs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you know what? And I ain't mad at Sarah. I like Sarah because I think Sarah could have handled being here in the 21st century. She probably still been making them kind of decisions because we see that from every which way, right?
Yeah,
I,
Sarah
I,
was
I ain't mad at Sarah, but I'm like, girlfriend, really?
Sarah was the boss, but the problem was she was thought that this was the best idea, and so what happened was, Saraya got beside, not Saraya, Hagar got beside herself and kind of turned on Saraya because she was like, well, I got the child now, you still bearing, chick.
Right.
So all that. So yes, in her innocency of thinking that she was helping Yahweh out,
yes,
that thing turned on her, and she was like, "Yeah, you gonna have to get rid of her." And what I love about Abraham, he was like, "No, that's your handmaid, and I'm gonna let you."
It's like my doing.
Yeah, listen, I didn't start this chick. I love
women.
I didn't start it. So
he had an Adam moment, you know, remember? So Eve is out there digging on the fruit, right? And then Adam is close by. So he chose to die God's way. But I was like, was that love of Adam? Because he loved his girl. So I'm gonna just go on and do this. So Abraham, when he said that was your chick, that was your idea, he just kind of stepped back. But dude, you was in the bedroom with her. Come on now. What, you know, I'm like, okay, these choices, the consequences of the choices and the decisions in life, you know. So I got, you know, we've been seeing a lot of leaders that things are happening. And I'm thinking to myself, really, because you hear the comments of people, I'm like, what you got in your closet? I know there's stuff in my closet, you know, that I really prefer not to discuss, but none of us is perfect. And there's so much, but if we collaborate, relational currency and collaborative intelligence to continue our fight for the kingdom, you know, is that Charles Jenkins song? I love it. This means war. Charles Jenkins song. I love that. Brian Courtney, is it worth fighting for? What is it worth fighting for? Even when there's a ball of mess here, but how do we work towards it? Because some of that ends up being great testimonies because there's a whole lot of other people who may be in the same situation, you know, so it causes release for them. So this is good. Mm-hmm.
But the answer for all of it, waiting, going through, while waiting, if we happen to get a little anxious while waiting and do some things on our own, the answer to all of that is to go right back to his word.
Yes.
Word is the answer for everything. And so how do you wait? Honestly, the best way, the most efficient and the most effective way to wait correctly is to get in his word. Because if we stay in his word, then we won't make the mishaps. We won't think, well, maybe he meant this. We'll see exactly what he meant if we stay in his word. And a lot of why we end up doing the DYIs or taking it back is because we forget about the word and we start becoming anxious. We start looking at the situation and then, like I said, watching again. And because the enemy, let me tell you something, the enemy of your soul is always going to make Yahweh look like he's coming up short. He's always going to make him look like he doesn't care. He's always going to make it look like he just left you out there hanging. He's not listening to you. That's why you have to drown out your thoughts, your imaginations, your voice, and the enemy's voice by overpowering it with the word. If you get in the word, it will scream louder. I don't want to say scream, but drown out every other voice but Yahweh's voice. Why?
So, so what it actually does is brings you peace.
Yes, thank you. That's
And I'm going to let you finish, but one of the areas with that is people end up with nervous breakdowns. People end up just losing it because they don't know what to do, because they don't know. You got to know that there's something in the treasure that you can pull from, and the treasure is the word. And if you don't understand that there's treasures in the word and you don't know the word, you end up going around in circle. And so it happens again, there's another circle. It happens again. And you keep saying, why? It's why because you never connected with where your freedom comes from, your peace comes from. You never connected with that place that will cause you to rest. And we talk about the Sabbath and we talk about it as a time of rest. The word is consistent with rest. The word is consistent with peace. And when I think about just the fact that when we get in those places, and we do, even though we know the word, even though we get a little frazzled, and then we have to go back, return back to what we have to turn back to where we know we belong in the word. It's almost like he tells, and what's it in Joshua? Again, I say, be still. In other words, the word slipped my mind. Y'all been saying it the whole time.
Be still, no.
But he said again, so that meant he had to repeat it. That meant he had to reinforce it in him to know that it's going to be all right. And a lot of times when we're going through, he's trying to reinforce it in us, but we don't hear it because we're so bogged down with what's in front of us. And sometimes you'll say, he said it's going to be all right. But you done took yourself through all of this because of past mistakes, because of not being sure of who he is and what he's really going to do, even though he's done it before. And he'll do it again. We get caught up with what's in front of us, and sometimes it looks bigger than what was, and it overtakes us. I just wanted to add that into what you were saying.
No, that's good because I think that's how we can sum it up. You know, ask for his shalom while you're waiting. Because if you get anxious, you have his shalom. And that peace that surpasses all understanding. That's what you're asking for. When we ask for yes,
Rest, rule, and
yes,
abide
in me. And when we ask for his shalom, it's not just one thing. There are 13 different things in that shalom. That's what's so powerful about his peace and the world's peace. His peace comes with harmony and wholeness, health, completeness, soundness of mind. That's what you need. Wealth, prosperity, rest for your soul, welfare for your being, safety, tranquility. When you're waiting, you need tranquility, perfectness, and fullness. So the best way to wait is to get in his word. And in those times where maybe I'm at work or I'm driving and something is going on and I can't quickly grab the word, ask for his shalom. And that will help you while you're waiting. That was good, Prophetess Leslie.
So we have to understand that the promises are to those who will wait. And what do I mean by that? The promises are those that choose him. We want to give it to people that don't. The word has conditions. you can't just get peace without doing what he says to do.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like Psalms 91. Everybody likes to quote Psalms 99. But when you get so far, it says, because you. If you go over to Psalms 23, David says, because I. There's conditions you have to submit to what he has for you. We can't just quote it and think it's going to happen. We have to follow the instructions that come with the in the treasure box. It's just like a treasure hunt. You can't find a treasure if you don't follow the path to get to it.
Right. That's good. One of the words when I think about shalom is harmony. I don't like the word balance. It's too rigid for me. You know, and from me saying that is we have the opportunity to frame our world. And if death and life is in our tongue, then why not be in mind of that, especially when it comes to the waiting? Can we visualize keeping the end in mind because he wants the best for us? And there's nothing wrong with that. We don't get in his way. We can have that vision in our head of keeping the end in mind of how it's going to come. And more than likely, it's probably not going to be exactly even how we're keeping the end in mind, because daddy's still going to do his thing. He's still going to make it happen his way. You know, you might need something, and a person who you probably had a spat with after all these years, they end up giving you $500 and they said, please forgive me. And you forgot that you let them borrow $500. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because that was a real situation. And I didn't even know why we were at odds, but they told me they were at odds with me because they weren't able to pay back. And when I would see them, I would still want to greet them and say, hey. And it was like so curt with me. And I was like, what is this all about? I had totally forgot. Because my mom had taught me that, well, if you gave it, then don't, if you gave it to someone, then don't expect it back. It'll come back another way. And I think at that point, I had just totally gotten it out of my mind. And at whatever point, I don't know if it was a week or 2 weeks or 30 days, I don't know, whatever they said they were going to do. But they ran into some goodness and the Lord spoke to them. And guess what? It came right on time for me, you know? So it came right on time for me. We just don't know. You know, it's almost like my mom would say, get out of people's pockets, get out of people's thoughts too, is how she would say it. You know, we would assume why they acting this way with us, why they doing this with us, you know. And if we know who we are in Christ, it ain't gonna make no difference. Some people call that an arrogance, but it's not an arrogance, and it's an assurance that we are daughters and sons of a mighty King, you know. To be able to hold that. And I wasn't always that way, you know, being teased when I was little, stuttered, you know, a lot of things, and wanting to have friends. But now I'm like, you know, Lord, thank you for schooling me. Thank you for loving me, elevating me, encouraging me, empowering me to be your workmanship, to be the apple of your eye, to know that I am more than a conqueror, you know, to know that I do have a future of hope and it's not of devastation. So, you know, we got to do this thing. And we lose it along the way, but what happens when you lose it every day throughout the day, but then you notice it's been a week, or you notice it's been 3 months, or you notice it's even been 6 months. And I want to say this for the wives, especially being a wife, you know, that's usually when I even teach, that's the story. I'm like, Lord, why you keep coming up with, I got to talk about being a wife. Well, because I wasn't being gracious as a wife, you know, regardless of how my honey would do. God said, he's my child. I'll handle him. You need to get out of the way and do what you need to do, because both of y'all got to answer on that great day. So that's how I look at that.
That's good. So It is vitally important that we begin to look in the mirror and see how are we handling these things. See what is our disposition, what is our attitude, because a lot of times when you go through those things, you have an attitude,
Oh,
and you
you better
can
believe it.
other people begin to see the fruit of that. Instead of the fruit of the word, instead of the fruit of the Father, they see our lack of, and you can't even see compassing. They begin to see something and know something's going on. They might not know exactly what it is, but they know you're not representing what you say you represent.
That part right there.
You know, and we do have to be careful of that, because if we get into those predicaments, people are already watching what we say we believe in, how we come out, because why? They need an answer for where they are, and how we portray ourselves in those moments is what's going to make a difference of how they say, I want what you have, I need what you have.
Mm.
And that's the most important thing. We are kingdom people working for the kingdom. Our job is to promote kingdom.
Kingdom.
And he graced us with these shells that our spirit can come down in these shells to show others that there's a better way. If we never experience the better way, we have nothing to offer them.
Mhm.
So when we go through, when we have arguments, when we have disagreements, when it looks like, and I begin to say now, I used to say when our backs was again, now I'm saying when it looked like,
Your back was up against the
when it
wall.
looks like, how are we operating in that moment? Because it does make a difference. It makes a difference for your family. Your children are watching you, and when they grow up, that you hear either they know you love God or Elohim, or they say she was a fraud, one or the other. There's like, my
Counterfeit.
mama didn't do that. My mama used to do so. So we do have to be careful that because look, we can go to church all the time. We can be on every auxiliary there is. We can be in every ministry there is. But if we don't have a right disposition going through that, it's null and void, because the auxiliary doesn't get us in the kingdom. It's the lifestyle that gets you in the kingdom.
That's good. Ooh, that's a t-shirt, right? It's the lifestyle that gets you in the kingdom. That's good. Ooh, my God. That's good. That's good.
You have to come off mic, Wanda.
I just said absolutely.
So, something over here I read about the kingdom. I don't see it right now, but reason why we come Sunday after Sunday is because we desire the kingdom to show up better in our lives than it has been. When the kingdom shows up differently, we say less, or we don't begin to say, is life worth living? We begin to respond to life and how we live it.
Mhm.
And it's important that, that desire is to see you pleased, see you happy, not going
Yeah.
in the same circles, knowing that there is a way out, or
Yeah.
a way of escape. And the way of escape is learning what's the kingdom that's in you really is, and how to live it.
Yeah. This is not only the people who know us, but what a thing when somebody you don't know can see the light on you. We're going back to the light.
Mhm.
So my husband and I, he's having to do his pre-op. Before you do a surgery, you got to do your pre-ops and measure up with anesthesia, heart, stress tests, and all that kind of stuff. And we went to go to the anesthesiologist to get the last portion of his pre-ops. So when we went, we weren't even in the room long enough, but the gentleman said, There's a glow about y'all. Now, mind you not, I'm going, I was dealing with Honey, but I was wanting to be patient because he's being pushed. I already know his ego, his rational self, his spirit man is all, because he's not himself, right? And I was glad that that gentleman said that, because later on, that I felt like that was a kiss from God, or a whisper, sister, I need you to still be patient, you know? And the gentleman said he didn't know us from Adam. We had never met him before. And number one, he said he wasn't married. We didn't ask him. He said he wasn't married. Number two, he said he was 55. And number three, he said he ain't never doing that thing. So it was something that was happening that I think it was still triggering him. There's hope. But he told us, he said, I don't know what it is, but there's just something about y'all that I feel godliness from y'all. And me and my husband talked about that all day. And those are those nuggets to help you when you know you can lose it. Nipping and chipping and sandpaper, nipping and chipping and sandpaper. When you know you're somewhere and it's not a place of grace to you, but you know you need to operate in your best, you don't know who's watching you. Whether it's your children, your grandchildren, your next door neighbor, another church member, even as simple as road rage. What if you decide to do road rage and you didn't know your pastor was on the same highway with you? You know what I'm saying?
People have this happen.
Yeah.
Wait, how about we could say nephew Tommy calling people that's supposed to be saved and they cussing him out and stuff, and then they feel so bad because they went out in a character, I don't know. That just came to mind. I'm sorry, y'all.
But anything, we just don't know. So what did you say? The lifestyle. How did you say that? Y'all, who typed that? What did you gave a little quote a while ago. Like we said that we gotta do a t-shirt. Lifestyle, your lifestyle gets you into the kingdom. How did we say that? We're gonna have to go look at the replay. Okay, but replay power, we do have that. But the thing about this is, are we giving ourselves grace? Are we giving ourselves grace to grow and mature, to get to another level of maturation? Are we doing it for ourselves? So yeah, that's what the smile is all about. Simply make intentional love encounters, starting with yourself first, not in arrogance, not in pride. Just knowing that we have to take care of ourselves first and understand to be able to help others. Yeah.
Thank you. Any last words, Ms. Wanda?
No, you guys have been amazing. We're
You've
just
been amazing.
learn these lessons, apply them to our lives. We're gonna wait intentionally, but we're gonna wait the way Elohim requires us to wait.
Yeah, because, and like I was saying, hey nephew, one of the things
Hey, Rick.
that I do want us to understand is that we're saying these things, and it's not like we're saying it and don't go through. It's not like we're saying it and we just float through this like, hey, we know it's the way. No, we're saying it from experience.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing experience, because the more you grow, the less you are stunted by what you're going through. But it's an ongoing process. So we never
Forever.
want you to think that we're coming on here.
We have arrived, right?
It's not like that. We come on here because we know what it is, and we want you to know you're not alone, but there is an answer. So, you have any last words?
This has been good. Look, we have not arrived. We have to do it every single moment of the day.
That's right.
All I can say is read. When it comes to the Bible, read, meditate, execute, study. And what more than to have a Leslie's lessons learned along with the sister, Sister Wanda, to be able to learn. When you hear about people's life lessons, it'll keep you straight. But pay attention to your own life lessons that'll help you to get out of daddy's way. That's all I can say. Get out of daddy's way. No more DIYs. No more DIYs.
And yeah, because it is a personal walk.
Hmm.
It's easy. We learn how to help everybody else walk. We learn what we think they need to do,
Right.
and we're proud about that.
That should be a topic. Why do we're so quick, especially if we don't ask permission to give somebody something or say something? That I think that's a whole nother lesson. It's easy for us we're observing someone else and then we say, oh, you could have done it this way, or you could have done it that way. How do we operate? How do we just operate that? If we ask ourselves, why are we even in that business right now? What are we doing for ourselves? And then if there is a need, how can we just immediately pray? Because sometimes it's not warranted for us to say something. We have to yield to the Holy
Even
Spirit.
though we feel emotionally,
Yes.
we move on our
That's that
emotions so
ego
much,
thing. Yeah.
so much.
flesh.
And, the Father's like, really? Didn't I tell you don't say nothing?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
But we're going to end today. Thank you so much for being here. I think that I'm going to try to maybe do a little video tonight to show you guys the event. That's a little over the top for me, but I'm gonna try it if I remember.
I'm gonna be texting like, you got it, you got this, I got this, you got this. Because we got to get each other, no matter what, we got to get each other. So when she go up, I'm gonna make sure, if that's all y'all get, y'all gonna see her. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't want to tell the secret, but y'all, she gonna be so tall. Alicia, Pa, she gonna be tall.
Yeah.
So we'll have Frida with us. But we don't know how the setup is going to be. But my desire, I want to keep the end in mind, right, Wanda? We're gonna make sure we get some footage of her. We're gonna get some footage of me, and then of course the visionary. That'll give us 3: one for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Spirit. At least the 3 opportunities of some footage. This is a very well noteworthy organization that has a handle of profit and nonprofit. She operates in excellence, Angel Wright. Speak Up Sister. Sis. I said, yes, sis.
She's been on here a few times, so it's a lot of them know her.
Mhm.
But yeah, so close out because we have to pick service. But thank you everyone for being here. And yes, it was just a round table talk today, but I think it was a good one to help us revamp and think about how we're really going through the issues and if we really trust him enough to do what he said he's going to do. So thank you, everybody. I see Pastor Patricia, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. But to each and every one of you, we love you, but we can never love you like Yahweh. His love is intentional. And because of that, he will love you right where you are all the way to the end. And you don't have to worry about him saying, well, why is she doing that? Or he ain't just gonna do what he need to do and keep it moving. But until we meet again, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch. See you next Sunday. Love you guys.
Shalom, everyone.
And Ross, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Ross.